Good afternoon, friends. You are concluding this year's Theological Reflection series. I was asked to give you a kind of a feedback on what had happened in the past months, and I would have very much wished that I was with you personally, but then that is not possible because of my prior commitment. I am making use of this medium to communicate. Hope you won't mind, okay? I know you won't mind. We had 8 sessions, or rather 8 groups reflecting on 8 different themes. I have a list here. The first group had social justice as a theme. Then the second group, communal violence, particularly the Manipur issue, was taken up. A third group reflected on the ecclesial ministry, and the fourth one, Sanatana Dharma. Fifth one on biomedical ethics, playing God. Sixth group on theology of land, particularly in reference to the current ongoing war between Israel and Palestine. Then seventh one on election 2024, and finally the last group reflected on the issue of migration. First of all, I should say that the topics that have been taken are very, very relevant and topical, and that's why I would like to congratulate all of you for taking topics that are quite relevant. Now, having taken the topic that are very relevant, have we done justice to what we call theologizing? What is theologizing? This is the big question that we have to answer. Basically, you followed a schema which ran like this. The first paper usually highlighted the issue at hand, and the second paper often was kind of an analysis, and the third one basically a theological reflection. Most of the papers, most of the sessions went on like that. I think it's good enough. Maybe because we are all students, we are learning. Maybe my inputs that I'm going to give in a couple of moments, not to say that you didn't do well, but what to keep in mind while we engage in what we call theologizing. So let me start by saying we normally stand in between 2 big circles. Okay, the first circle is what I call the tradition, our faith tradition, and the second circle is our present situation, the present experience. So we stand in between these 2 realities, our faith tradition and our present reality. Now, theologizing takes place when these 2 realities come face to face. And this is the interface between the faith tradition and the present reality is what we call theologizing. Let me present to you in this diagram. In this diagram, you see 2 circles, and there is a space of overlapping. The first circle, tradition, and the second circle, the present moment. Theologizing is the moment in which, the area in which these 2 circles overlap. Now, it can happen that you analyze the situation, say for example, without any relation to the faith tradition. And then we can do another paper in which you present the faith tradition without any reference to the present reality. So they stand apart. Then finally you try to do some kind of a patchwork. But actually we have to think seriously about this interface, this dialogue that takes place between the faith tradition as well as the present reality. Now, sometimes it can happen that we are more on the tradition, faith tradition, at the neglect of the other reality. What will be the end result? You will have a set of doctrines that is already, they are already defined. Nothing new is going to come about. And the advantage is that you will be on a firm ground. You know for sure what is what. Because things are given, things are defined. So the certitude is something that is a plus point. But theology is an area where it's not certitude that we are looking forward to, but something that becomes meaningful to the people. Then suppose if you are standing on the other side, where we have the situation, and if you stand only there, of course you try to make some sense out of it, and your theology is going to be some kind of a sociology. We are not here to do sociology. Sociology is there, but then we are not giving a sociological reflection. On the one side, we are not here to repeat the dogmas and doctrines. This is not a catechesis, it is theologizing. Catechesis is something in which you impart certain truth, basic truths, no problem. But theologizing is the next step. Likewise here, we are not taking sociological studies. They are there. But they are something like launching pad from which you look at our faith tradition. So beyond this exclusivity of tradition as well as the present situation, you position yourself in the middle, where this overlapping taking place, where conversations taking place, dialogue is taking place. When you position yourself, for you the situation is important and your faith tradition is also important. How to make sense of this faith tradition in relation to the present reality, and how to understand this present reality given the kind of faith that I have. What would be my kind of response to it? So this is the kind of a basic positioning. Now, having sat through practically all the sessions, I get this feeling that you have attempted to bring in all these elements: the reality, the faith tradition, and the implication. But I got the impression that these three papers that were presented, they didn't have much in common. Let me explain. The one who does the theological reflection should know what exactly the problem was and how the problem was conceptualized. The one who does the analysis should also know what the theology part is going to be. And the way situation was seen and analyzed should have some kind of a dialogue between these various elements taking place. The themes themselves, how they have been developed, I have a feeling that each one did their own analysis, their own research, and using our best known method. You know what is the best known method in the seminaries? It is not the hermeneutical circle which Segundo says, or it is not no. There are so many methods, but the method best known to us is, what is the method? Copy paste method, cut and paste method. Okay, that's the method that we all know. So what has happened often is that you have picked up, culled out information from various sources without having reflected on the data that you have collected. So that shows in the paper. They are not presented in a way that is taken in digested, you know it, and out of your understanding, words come out. I don't think it happens, right? And also when it comes to theologizing part, so-called theologizing part, what I see often happening is you pick up certain elements from the Bible. You pick out certain passages and you quote. This is what Bible says. This is what Bible says. Yes, but what? Bible says. But this method that I have been presenting is the present situation challenges the faith tradition. So faith tradition itself should be challenged by the present reality. And vice versa, the present reality also is seen through the lens of the faith tradition. So this is some kind of a mutual challenging taking place. So at the end of the session, you should have moved out of the present situation. You should have moved out of the theological faith formulation that has been already given. If you are going to repeat what is already there, okay, you have explained certain things, but you are not theologized. So to speak concretely, when you take up a particular issue or problem, you should be able to tell us in what way this problem, this issue, presents itself as a challenge to our faith. It should be something that should challenge our faith, or at least the way it is formulated. So you should be able to give us the questions. These are the questions that we need to answer. Then from the other side, you should be able to say in what measure the present reality stands challenged by our faith understanding, experience. Faith experience is something, is another pole from which you see the reality. So if you are able to present questions, sets of questions seen from these two different poles, and able to correlate, then you are in the process of theologizing. So look for the questions, look for the challenges. And I think this process has to be a collective process. So even if you have some 10 brothers in a team, all of them should be involved. It's not that only 3 people do the paper and others manage the PowerPoint and some present, the stage managing. No, that is not it. In the theological process, the thinking process, all should be involved. This is my humble opinion. You can take it. Then, of course, we can further discuss whether the way we conduct it is conducive really for this serious research, serious search, the timing, the place, and the way, how we do. I think we need to do a little bit of evaluation, and I'm sure that all of us are open, both students and staff. But I think our seminary has some of the best students. Therefore, we should be able to make real contribution, theological contribution to the church in India. Surely all of you are supposed to be pastors, but then pastors, thinking pastors who can really come to grips with both the reality as well as our faith. I wish you all the best, brothers. Thank you.